So Jimmy Garoppolo is, well, okay, he's still a 49er. Nothing has changed. But something has changed with San Francisco, and that's that, they had this blockbuster trade to move up, trade 3 first-round picks to get the number 3 overall pick, and it seems like that's not something you would do unless you're eyeing a quarterback, so perhaps Garoppolo could be on the trade block, or they could be looking to move off of him. So I figured I'd make a video talking about the pros and the cons of Garoppolo. Is this the right move for San Francisco to trade him, and should a team like, say, New England trade for him? So we'll start off with a play like this. I think this is going to be a good example of showing one of the better things about his game is that he can run an offense. You get an offense, he can run it. Maybe he's not going to make something out of nothing, but when you have something there, he can get its full potential, or at least close to it. On this play, it's a cover 1 play. It's going to be a cover 1 hole, meaning a linebacker is going to drop back into coverage over the middle of the field. On top of that, this is a route that typically works well against man coverage over the middle. Usually everything over the middle tends to be pretty good, which is why, as a defense, you put a player in that area to kind of make it more difficult. Because, watch, once this play starts, the receiver is clearly about to get open in the yellow circle. When he cuts over, he will beat his assigned man. The issue is just that the Miami player who I've circled in white is over the middle of the field, and this is going to be a much more difficult throw. While it looks like Garoppolo has a clear lane right here when I've paused it, and he's already throwing it, so that's good. It's a lot more difficult than you would actually think, because keep in mind, the receiver is cutting towards the top of the screen. He's cutting over the middle of the field, which means that, Garoppolo, you don't want to throw it behind him. You want to actually lead him. In an ideal situation, you would throw it further than where he is, but that's difficult to do because not only is there a defender in the middle of the field, but he's actually reading this play and trying to get over. One thing that's good about Garoppolo is the fact that he has such a quick release that it's really just difficult to, even if you're reading him and trying to make a play on, his eyes, it's just difficult to do because the second he starts throwing it, the ball is out of his hands. So just, a little bit less reaction time works that way. But also watch his throw. Just a perfect right on the money throw. That's a thing of beauty. If that's, an inch over, or not 1 inch, but 6 inches over to Garoppolo's left, it's knocked away. If it's 6 inches to the right, it's still probably caught, but it's certainly not going to be for as many yards. So just a really good, perfect throw from Garoppolo, and he can do things like that pretty consistently. I think this next play will be kind of another example of that, where, again, this isn't something where he has to make a big read on or anything like that. It's just him, running the offense the way Shanahan wants him to run the offense, but doing it effectively. So it's a cover 3 zone that New England is in. Garoppolo's going to run play action. He has a receiver running over the middle. The hope is that you get linebackers out of position, which makes the throw over the middle easier. So watch, Garoppolo takes the snap, does run a play action, and you see right here that it's okay, but not really great. There will be a window where Garoppolo can make this throw, but honestly, he kind of has to make this throw now. It has to be out of his hand now, and he's not even in the throwing motion because he just turned around. So this is a little bit of a difficult moment for him, but again, what I mentioned is Garoppolo might have the quickest release in the NFL. It's lightning fast, and when you pair that with good accuracy, it can really be a problem. Again, watch him just, get right through there. It wasn't even the best throw. It wasn't a horrible throw. It could have been a little bit better. But, it's that quick release and perfect timing. And that's a lot of what football is just the timing of it. Whether that's, having a quick release, which makes things a little easier, or just, knowing when to throw it. Everything was good there from Garoppolo. And now I want to show this play because he's not a complete Jared Goff type that just needs a smart head coach to, or smart offensive coordinator to completely control things for him. He can do some things on his own. I'm not saying that his football IQ is what's made him successful and what's made him a ton of money. It is his accuracy and, the things I just mentioned. But he can do this at least somewhat okay. So on this play, I've shown all the routes, but really what you want to watch is going to be what's going on to Garoppolo's right. There's a little pick play going on over there, and it looks like Garoppolo's supposed to try and hit the tight end. This works well against man coverage. It is zone coverage, though, so it's not going to work out as well. On top of this, this is going to be a rollout to the top of the screen. And so watch, you see Garoppolo fakes a handoff, does roll out to the top of the screen. And now, while I think a lot of players probably would be throwing this to the guy in the black circle because that's what you're supposed to do on this play, Garoppolo reads it, and he reads that, hey, the yellow circle guy is going to be way more open. Now, it's a difficult throw. Garoppolo has to make it entirely across his body, whereas it'd be a lot easier to just flip one up right in front of you. And that's why I'm pretty sure that this was not the way this play was designed. It just kind of didn't work out the way Shanahan wanted it to. But Garoppolo is still making a read and figuring out the way for it to work out the best. As you see, he does in fact flip it across his body, and they pick up a good amount of yards there that they wouldn't have gotten had he just ran the play as normal. Again, this is an assumption because I'm not there in the huddle, but that's what it looks like to me. I can't imagine that that was what it was designed. Usually I wouldn't even throw that in as a suggestion, but let's be honest, Kyle Shanahan does get creative, so it is possible, but highly unlikely. I think that's just a good read from Garoppolo. Okay, now let's get into the negatives. Obviously, the main negative is just his injury history, but if we're just talking on the field, he does have some negatives on the field as well. And, I mentioned when I made my video just breaking down the trade as a whole, one of the things that kind of confused me a little is that it seems like Garoppolo's biggest negative is something that Justin Fields also has, and so if they get Justin Fields, that would be a bit head-scratching to me, although at least Fields, hopefully can stay on the field, no pun intended. But this is kind of what I mean. Garoppolo just will make the occasional kind of head-scratching decision. He just will. He was a lot better at it in 2020, to his credit, than he was in 2019, despite the fact that, obviously the team was a lot better in 2019. But he still had one that I think was not great, or one in particular, I mean. It's this one. The way this works is that, again, this is a designed play that's supposed to have a certain outcome. You have a receiver run over the middle, and the hope there is that the safety is going to start to run to Garoppolo's right, which is towards the top of the screen, and then the halfback, who's going to be running a deep route over there, he just has a one-on-one matchup. It's against a linebacker. It's using speed. Hopefully that could get open, and Garoppolo could just sort of throw it deep, and you hope that the halfback can outrun a linebacker. And watch. So Garoppolo takes the snap and, pump fakes over the middle. And then at this point, he still has the ball and he has a decision to make. Right, as of right now, I would hope that a quarterback would read the safety, see that he's not moved in any direction. And if you do want to make this throw, I'm not saying he can't make this throw. I'm saying if you do want to make this throw, you got to get it there in a hurry now. You have to play the safety, and you have to make sure that the safety can't get into this play. Whereas if the safety moved up to the top of the screen, then maybe you could just bomb it and hope that, your guy is faster. But instead, Garoppolo puts way too much air under this one, and that's just an easy interception because, again, it's a halfback. He's not going to do a tremendous job of being able to fight that one away. I don't even know if he could have to begin with. Some people may look at that and say, oh, well, it was just an overthrow. I don't think that was an overthrow at all. That wasn't an overthrow. It was just him putting way too much air under it, which is just a mistake. The correct way to make that throw is to sort of bullet it through there. And part of this might have just been, that Miami game was such a disaster and really no one was getting open on that play at all. So, not on that play, in the entire game, San Francisco was down 24-7 at this point. So while it was a mistake, it could have just been a frustration. Let's take some chances and try to get back into the game. But again, I think there's a better way to take that chance. So yeah, that's largely what I think about Garoppolo. I think that he is a talented player. I think he is a valuable asset. And quite frankly, I think that this would be an insane move to make the trade and then draft a quarterback if Garoppolo could stay healthy, but he can't stay healthy. And that's really what it comes down to, is I think that they're probably concerned about the health issues. And it's also not like Garoppolo is Patrick Mahomes when he is healthy. He's a good quarterback, but he's not a spectacular quarterback, again, when healthy. But now the flip side is that if you can have him healthy, you could potentially, he's a guy who you can go to a Super Bowl with. We know that. He's been there and nearly won it. Granted, you could argue his missed throws at the end of the fourth quarter were part of why they didn't, but still. Also, for a team like, New England is the team that obviously he played there before, had success there before, so a lot of people are saying maybe that could happen. I certainly could see a scenario where New England trades their first-round pick for Garoppolo. Like, that would make sense to me. They have a mid-round pick. I'd rather have the known guy then, especially with the fact that we could see a run at quarterbacks early on in this draft. So maybe New England does that, and I think San Francisco would take that. I also think that would make them feel a lot better about this whole situation when it kind of is like, instead of giving up 3 first-round picks for 1 quarterback, it's now kind of feels like you're giving up just 2 first-round picks because you get 1 back with the Garoppolo, and then the question is just, do you hit the quarterback? And that's really what it's going to come down to, because Fields is really good. But yeah, anyways, enough about the trade. Back to the quarterback. That's what I think of Garoppolo. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.